now we are on a different clip because I wanted to show you another way of color grading, and this time we're going to be doing something a little bit different. So we go to the color panel. So I have also provided you this clip as well. So now what we're going to be doing is, let's choose a master frame here, which is this one. And I can also see that I don't really see my parades really good. So what you can do, you go to the settings here, 3 dots, you can increase the opacity of the parade. So now you can see everything super clear. Yep. So maybe this can be the master frame, right? We just gonna make another node. Or let's just copy everything from the previous video. So I just went and applied grade. Yep. Here what we can do, I don't really like the exposure. I don't really I'm just gonna reset the white balance, reset everything. Yeah. We just want that structure. So I can see here that everything is falling apart with the cloud. So let's first take care of that. So we go to HDR, we just reduce the highlights. So you can see we are bringing the image back to making it look normal. So you see with one click, everything was falling apart. We have brought some things back. This master frame. And now here, exposure, we go, I don't think I need to change anything in the white balance, maybe reduce the blues a little bit. So there is another way to change the white balance. Let me show you here. If we go to the curves here, then we go to custom curves, and then in this custom curve, if you go here to the blues, so that would just show me the curve for the blue. So I can see that the top part of the blue that needs to be reduced. If I want to reduce that, then you can just click here on the top part and then go down. So that would reduce the top part of the blue without anything affecting on the red and the green. So let's leave it here, maybe also green a little bit. So if I'm reducing the green, you can see that is affecting both the curves. So I would just leave it here. Let's go before and after. So the image was a little bit blue and now it looks a bit now normal. So what we can be doing here is that exposure, I am not sure if I need to change anything. I will just reset it. So I would also reset the HDR because I think that I did a mistake. HDR was not really reset. So let's take care of the exposure first because I want to make sure that my subject is well exposed. Let's just be on this frame. The gains are quite high because the clouds are already exposed. So let's increase it a little bit, very little. Yeah. Then the gamma also a little bit. And here, I'll just leave the gamma. Here we're going to be increasing the shadows because everything in the shadows, we have to expose it well. So now you can see as I'm increasing the shadow, the grass, the clothes, her face, it is all increasing, which is really, really nice. So if we go before and after, you see how dull the image was. This is after. So yeah, we're going to be taking care of the HDR. I know you came here for another way of color grading, but yeah, this is also really essential because we cannot really color grade if the image is not well exposed. Okay, so now I think, let's select everything. We go before and after. So now I think the image is well exposed. Let's leave it here to the master frame. Now, if you want to have like a dramatic look on this image, saturation, I don't think I would touch it, or maybe let's just try. Let's go to color space, HSV, then we go right click channels, channel 1, take it out, and then here channel 3. And now we're going to be increasing the saturation. I'm sure the reds would go crazy. So maybe I am focusing on her face because before this, the face looked a bit discolored. Now it looks a little bit colorful, a bit more lively. So that's what happens as well, that it really depends on what environment you're filming in. The face of the subject or the colors, it just changes drastically. So saturation was pretty good, but what happened here was I didn't want that saturation to be on the jacket. I wanted that saturation to be also not on the grass. So what would happen is that I would maybe just select the face. So to do that, what you can do, you go right click, you go add node, you go add layer. And as soon as I add layer, you can see that the whole saturation, whatever we did, it would be disabled. That is disabled because now what's happening is that layer is like adding nodes in a layer is a way to kind of separate the settings. Let me show you. So if, for example, we did saturation, layer is just another node sitting on the top that is making the input how it was before saturation. So let's do something really cool, which I haven't talked yet. So if we go to the qualifier tool, yeah, and if you select the jacket here, if I select the jacket, and if I go here to the highlights, I know we are moving a little bit quicker, but yeah, if we go to highlights, that would show me what all things are selected. And here, if we have the qualifier selector, then I can also see what colors have been selected. So if I just expand this colors, then we just want to select the reds, right? And the saturation, we can bring it up, but that is also selecting her lips, which we don't want. Maybe if we go this way, then we just need to make sure that the whole jacket is selected. So what's happening now is that here we did the saturation, usual saturation, but here in this node, we are just selecting the reds, the jackets. And if I want to make any changes here, that would be just on the reds. But what's also happening here is that if we go full screen and if we disable that, then the saturation of the reds is increasing a lot. So what's happening here is that the output of this little box is the input from this minus the input of this. So we did saturation, which was on the entire image, but because this node has these reds active, that is not letting the saturation to be on the reds because we are kind of excluding the reds. So whatever is selected on this node would be excluded from this setting. And we can also do some settings on this. So what you can do is that if you just go color boost or saturation, if you just reduce the saturation down, you can reduce the saturation of the jacket. So if you go before and after, now this looks a bit more natural. So if we just select these two nodes and go before and after, you can see how much changes we made. We brought the color of the face to normal looking and also reduced the jacket color. So in look, what we can do. Here what we're going to be doing is, we're going to be using parallel nodes. So how do you do parallel nodes? So you go add node, you go add parallel. You go add node, add parallel. So what parallel node does is that it's a little bit different than the layers. So layer was this minus this is this, but the parallel is this plus this plus this is this. So you can also do everything on one node, or you can do everything on separate nodes. So here what we're going to be doing is we just go greens. I just enable it. We can go here and go skin. We can go here, we can go blues. So say for example, we just want to change the color of the greens. So we go to the greens, we go to the qualifier tool, and we can select the greens. And if we go to the highlight, that would tell me that just the greens are selected. But we can also move around and just make sure that all the greens are selected. Maybe expand this entire saturation. Same as luminance, increases this entire band. And then what we can also do, we can also increase the type of greens, because I think where I chosen was these greens were not included. So I would just increase this. So I'm just kind of making sure that all the greens in the image are selected. So if you just go here, and now whatever you do on this node, that would just select the greens. So what you can do, you can go to hues here, you go to primary color wheats, go to hue here, can change the color of the green to anything you want. So it is exact same as the curves, what we were doing, but with a different twist. So we can maybe increase or reduce the color of the green, maybe make it a bit more warm-ish, or maybe make it a bit more bluish. This is before, this is after. And now the skin tone, I think it looks pretty good. How do we know if the skin tones are looking good? Is we go to Parade, we go to Vector Scope, and then here, if you go to the settings, we need to do Show Skin Tone Indicator. And here, if we do any changes in the skin, that would kind of depict here. For example, let's go to the curve. Or yeah, let's even go to the Qualifier tool, and if we just qualify the skin here, and if you go here, and if you see the entire image, that is kind of selecting the entire, just the skins. So you can also kind of eliminate the hair if you want. You can also make it a little bit soft. So you go soft, you can go like this. You can also kind of increase or reduce the saturation because we just want the skins to be active. So that's the only demerit about saturation tool, is that you like the precise selection is a little bit difficult. So we're gonna be going here, and now you can see that if I go here, the highlights, then you can see that only like in this node, only this part is activated, and that is where the skin tone is. For example, if my skin tones were off, this would be here. You can see now the skin looks very weird. If my skin tones were like this, then this line wouldn't be on the skin tone indicator. So if we bring it here in the middle, we are kind of changing a little bit of color. Is 50.6, it should be 50. Then this is where the skin lies. But in my opinion, I think it looks pretty good. And it also kind of, if you go highlights, it shows me that the skin tone is lying on the skin tone indicator. So if it's kind of here or here, which means that the skin tones are not good. So that's really important. And if you go blues, if there were skies, then we could have done blues as well. So that's how you can also color grade by using the Qualifier tool. And now in the end, what we can also do is that if you want to make the entire image a little bit bluish, we can just go to offset and bring this down. So offset kind of affects the entire image. So gain just affected the brighter areas, gamma affected the midtones, lift would affect the darker areas, offset would just change the entire image, the entire color tone of the image. So what we can also do here is that I can see that if I kind of make the entire image bluish, the face and the body of the subject is also changing. And if you don't want that to change, what we can do, you go reset node, you go to the Qualifier tool, then you select the face. So we have the face selected. We can let the jacket be like how it is. And no, what we need to be doing is we go first here to the offset tool, bring everything bluish, and then add another layer here. Add node, add layer. And now here, if we select the face, so now what's happening is of course it's a bit aggressive, but now what's happening is that everything is turning kind of blue if you go full screen, except for the face. But it looks a little bit fake, so what we can do is that we can reduce the opacity of the layer. So we go to the layer, we go here to the key, and then reduce the output here. So this before, this is after. And if we just choose these two clips, this before and this is after. So that was another way to kind of color grade an image. And if you go full screen before and after, you can see this is how the image looked before, so dark, and wait. And this is how the image looks after. You see how much changes we have made. It looks a bit more dramatic. It is very different than the scene what we had before. Before, our goal was to go for that warm tone, and now our goal is to get that cool tone to make it a bit more dramatic.